Good afternoon guys, and welcome back to your Friday Fix, and welcome back to the continued course management series here at Waterfront. So far we've played a par 4 and a par 5, two pars, two very good second putts. So 3 or 4 foot putts for the second putt, took my time, made sure that I lined those up and I managed to hold them. So this hole now we are talking about a 360 yard par 4 narrow tee shot. As you can see, fairway widens up at around about 220 yards. And that's why I have got a 5-wood in my hands. Down to the green, you can see there is no bunkers on this hole, but you can see it's a very large green today. The pin, I can see it is at the front left, so we need to think about what kind of shot we're going to have in there. Obviously, what I want to do here is I've got my 5-wood. That's going to get me into that fattest part of the fairway. And think about holes at your golf course, guys. If they're short, narrow ones, think about where you want to place it. Is there a wider part of the fairway that you want to hit? Often there is a wider part, and that's what club you need to pick. It's okay hitting driver. If it narrows up there, it's going to make it much harder for me and put a lot more pressure on my game, and then I might end up dropping shots. 5-wood, a club that I'm confident with, a club I know I can put a nice swing on and just get down there into that fat part of the fairway. A little bit of a slip there, as you can see, but fading back nicely there into the left hand side of the fairway. A little bit of a slip, but certainly down there and in play. So as we come down there, we can see just in the left side of the fairway, again leaving me just over 100 yards. We've got a front pin here. This is where a lot of people think, right, I've got to go as high as possible and hit a full shot. We can still send this in low, just like the last, just to the right of the flag, and give ourselves a chance. And just because there's no bunkers on this hole doesn't mean that obviously we start to have a little bit of lapse in concentration. I'm still thinking here that I want to commit to this shot. Realistically, if I was going to miss anywhere, the miss a little bit short would leave myself a pretty straightforward chip shot. But I want to know my carry numbers here, and this is where it's important to know how far your clubs carry. If you're going to decide to go, okay, I'm going to hit a full shot, I want it to come down with a lot of landing angle, maybe that's your 52 degree. Perfect, you hit your 52 degree, but know how far it carries, not how far it goes total, because if you've been for lessons or if you've been on the golf course, yes, you might hit to a 140 yard flag and it runs out there in the summer, but it's landed at 115 and then ran the rest of the distance. So that's where you need to think about how far is it carrying. And if you want to get your carry numbers, then go down to your local TrackMan range. We have one here at Waterfront. Again, you can go to any kind of range that has that kind of technology to start to learn how far it carries. Carry is a more important number to me than total. Again, when out on tour, all the tour players are working on their carry numbers, not on their totals. They're knowing roughly how far it goes total, but it's all about where that ball will pitch. I'm hoping here with a pitching wedge, I'm going to be able to get this just to land on the green. Again, it's a controlled swing. I'm not going at this full, trying to flight it in. That's a nice flight. Started a little bit right to the flag like I wanted it to, and that has stopped maybe just short of pin high, but landed on the green. But you see there, I didn't put much speed into that. That was a nice controlled swing. And to keep the golf ball down, guys, I'm not doing what 99.9% will do. I'm not trying to drive these hands forwards to keep the loft off, because look what it does to the face. All I'm thinking there is if I have a smoother swing, it's much easier for me to rotate, and if I rotate, look what happens. I get the forward shaft lean, the face is square, that ball will launch lower, it'll actually have a little bit more spin control, it won't be spinning back, it'll be bouncing and stopping. If you can do that, guys, that's going to help you obviously hit it closer, but more importantly, control your distance a little bit more. The way to improve as a golfer is to be able to control your distance much better. Yes, dispersion from right to left needs to be tighter, but also front to back, because how many people I have that maybe hit a 6-iron 180 if they really strike it and that's the number they play, but on average they're miss-hitting the ball and it might go 160, 155 with a 6-iron. You've lost 25 yards. That's not going to help you when you're going into greens like this or your par 3s. Par 3s are a massive thing where people lose shots, which we're going to discuss on the next hole. Okay, I'm walking up to the green. We can see that that is actually pin high again. Well inside tour average. From there, tour average would be 25 feet. So it's certainly done that, but over a year. Obviously, I'm going to hit some close. I'm going to hit some far away. but knowing my pitching wedge was the club for that shot certainly shows that we can control clubs in there. We don't always have to go full. And when I talked about spin, obviously we're going to see here where that's pitched. So we can see it's pitched there on the green, a little bit of moisture on them this morning, and it's only ran out maybe, let's say, 2 yards. So a lot more control than if you hit that 52, lands in the same spot, spins off the front of the green, or if we get something coming in too low and we thin that 52, it's landing there and going back there. Let's see if we can get a birdie. So guys, if you really want to improve into next year and put in something that you struggle with, one big thing that you can do this winter is start to get maybe a couple of golf balls like the TaylorMade Stripe or the Shrixon Divide. Start to see how you are rolling that golf ball, because one of the biggest things that I see from people is they're cutting across putts. They don't know why they're missing. They're constantly guessing. You're constantly thinking, well, did I push that one? Did I lift my head up? Maybe I decelled into that one, or was it a misread? Actually, the pace could have been out. You're not quite sure. If you get the Stripe golf ball or the Divide golf ball, or if you just draw a line on your golf ball, then what you're going to be able to do is start to see, are you getting your face and path square? It's as important with this club as it is with your driver. Obviously, we know we have the majority of your shots with the putter, so let's start to do some productive practice. Let's start to work out why you've maybe had a poor season putting. Get a line on that golf ball, start to line them up to a target, even if it's on the carpet at home or on the putting green, and start to see, are you getting that face and path square? Are you rolling it well? Because that might be a big reason why your pace control is off, because you're having a glancing blow, and that's why you're having a lot of 3 putts. So let's break that putt down there. We can see by the line, it was a good, well, it started exactly where I wanted it and where I had it lined. It was a good pace. All I've done there is slightly overread it. I've missed it on the high side, but I've given myself a nice easy tap in. That again, guys, there was 8 feet. Tour average is 50%, so think about it. If you're an everyday golfer, if you're only playing at weekends, your percentage for that, if they're 50-50, you may be looking at a 10% make rate. So not very high, but give ourselves a chance to start to see. I don't mind missing that putt because I've seen that it's rolled perfect, so I know my stroke and path is good. I break it straight down there, that it was the green read. Pace was good, green read a little bit too high. Let's tap her in. So another par, guys. Let's now talk about par 3s. This is where I see a lot of beginner golfers, a lot of low handicappers have double bogeys on a hole that really you shouldn't be having them on if you play it the right way.